Is there ever a right time to start it? Like the conversation about water safety?
We have something in our backyard that's dangerous to our children, right? Why aren't we going to protect them? Like, to me, it's just like, how do you not think about that?
Everything in as it relates to water safety and parenting was before Colin drowned and after, and Colin was Ella's preschool classmate.
As we've taught our kids, and this came from Miss Kathy, so you teach your kids not to cross the street.
Yep.
You're going to teach your kids not to get in the pool without an adult.
It's real with teenagers and adults.
Big old gap.
Anybody can drown.
All ages, all water.
It doesn't matter.
All water. Welcome to the A Safe Pool Podcast. I'm Tonja. We have Jason, Nicole and Michael from the Michael Phelps Foundation, and we have Alissa from the NDPA. And today we are talking about ages and stages, what that looks like in the water safety world.
So water safety for us is all over the place right now. We have a 2-year-old, a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 10-year-old. The 10, 6, and 8-year-olds, I would say, are pretty...
They're safe. They're like comfortable. They're relaxed. They know what they're doing. Like, they've been in the water with Grandpa, who's Bob, my old coach, Allison, Miss Kathy. Like, they've had a lot of hands-on lessons, but also just teaching how to swim, whether it's stroke or whether it's just for safety. I mean, we've had them in the water, all of our kids in the water since 6 months.
6 weeks.
6 weeks, excuse me, 6 something, 6, 7.
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
6 weeks.
But, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I still don't know what that means.
I don't think any of us do.
No, but I feel like, you know, like Beckett will sit into the water and blow ring bubbles, right?
Yeah, I
so
think
he's like
each of
very
them have a
safe
very-
and like
yeah.
comfortable, and he feels natural in the water, right? Where some of them want to make sure they have goggles or a kickboard or a raft, right?
Yeah.
Like something is just the freedom you see with Beckett. It's kind of like me in the water, right? Like for me, I would always kind of blow ring bubbles and be on the bottom of the pool and just, I don't know, feel as one.
And I think the point is that the 3 older are comfortable. Nico is as well. And so I think it's like that introduction to water, to ensuring that they are confident and comfortable in the water, makes for more safer swimming, because you'll never be completely safe, right? And so we always have an adult. No one's allowed in the water when we don't have an adult out there. We actually have a pool fence, so they're behind. No one's allowed in the fence until an adult has entered the fence with them. 2-year-old Nico appreciates the water, likes to get in by himself, loves to be carried by his brothers, hangs out on the shelf, but again, an adult is within an arm's reach because he's not completely safe. So that's kind of where we stand right now.
And do you find that most of them, I'm hearing that they're confident, right?
Correct.
That they love the water.
But I
That's
think
huge.
they all learn differently, right? And it's kind of
Yes.
how I was taught,
Yeah.
right? You know, like I wasn't comfortable on my stomach, so naturally Miss Kathy put me on my back, right? And over time I flipped over. So they all learn differently, but yeah, they are comfortable.
Yeah.
They are confident in the water. Like, I mean, they go to school and they have, I call it a race, she calls it an exhibition, but
Right.
we don't need to get into that. But yeah, they hold their own, right?
But we're lucky because our school offers swim
Yeah.
starting in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Right,
amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, so from kindergarten
okay.
through 4th grade, they get swim every single day in PE, certain times of the year. So this, like the start of the school year, and then you come back from spring break until now, and they're in the pool.
And then at the end of the year, they have an
Yeah,
exhibition day.
That's
and
the
they come
dream
and do
that there would be
relays.
any
100%.
version of that
Yes.
for
Every-
They
yeah,
talk about
correct.
water
Yeah.
safety as well. Is
So
that part of the program?
They do, and not to call parents out, but if your kid is not good enough in the water, then they're like, you need to go get help outside of the school because we can't keep it safe with all these varying levels of kids. As we've taught our kids, and this came from Miss Kathy, so you teach your kids not to cross the street.
Yep.
You're going to teach your kids not to get in the pool without an adult because you respect the water, you recognize there's issues. I mean, you talk about water safety, and I just remembered this part. It's like they want to fight, they want to wrestle. They're
Right.
getting older, and so it's like, nope, you're out.
If
Like
you
there
do
is
that.
no
5-minute timeout,
until
like-
yeah, they're out of the pool
because we're going to
instantly.
respect that.
Correct.
It's interesting. I just asked our oldest daughter before we all went on, because you forget, right? I mean, we've got almost a 21-year-old and an almost 18-year-old. And so as we'll talk about today, it just looks very different, right, with each age and stage. And I forgot, and I said, honey, let's touch on it. Like, what did we do when you guys were younger that you remember, that helped you guys? And were you ever afraid of the water? And interestingly enough, I never asked them that question, ever, right? You hindsight, you start thinking about that. We never had a conversation like, how do you feel in the water?
Yeah.
I would do that now, right? I mean, we signed them up for swim lessons and did all the things. And she said, Mom, I never felt that way. She said, I feel like it was integrated in our lives.
Right.
It was it's no different than stranger danger and crossing the street. You guys brought that, we had fun in the pool at a very young age. I just felt like it was very progressional. And I said to her, well, how did that translate into your teenage years? Because now I'm searching myself going, did I even say anything to you at that point, right? Because it does look different, here we are. And she said, I don't know that we talked much about it. She said, I just knew. She said, we were brought up that way.
But like, were you guys brought up that way? Like,
No.
you know what I'm saying? Like, were you offered swimming lessons or water safety or whatever it might be?
I remember having a pool, and I remember doing swim lessons. Swim lessons looked very different for me than it did you.
Sure.
Like, the teacher that I went to
Just launching away.
was just launching, right?
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
was kind of a sink or swim kind of deal. So I remember hating going
Yeah,
there.
the
right?
traumas. Yeah.
I did learn, right? And I would work with, my dad at our home pool. I remember a big metal fence around it. I do remember that. But yeah, swim lessons looked a little different in my generation than it does now.
And we didn't have a pool fence, now that I'm thinking about it, when I was growing up. Not
never had a
not
pool.
in our family.
I used to get dropped off at the
Yeah,
pool.
me too.
First dive practice,
exactly.
and be picked
Yes.
up at 6 o'clock.
Exactly.
And I got
Yeah.
benched by the lifeguards, and that
Oh,
was
yeah.
our,
Yeah.
which,
Yep.
thinking
Yeah.
I know that.
through to
Yeah.
parenting
Right.
my now 21-year-old, like in all the
Yes.
stages. But you were talking about how you
Yeah.
maybe didn't have a conversation. So the way I started having a conversation, everything in my, as it relates to water safety and parenting, was before Colin drowned and after. And Colin was Ella's preschool classmate, Colin Holst of Colin's Hope. And I parented a certain way until she was 3, and then her preschool classmate drowned. And then I have literally looked back at pictures and thought about how did I do it before, and then Colin drowned, and I suddenly was like, oh, I got to do this differently. And we live by the lake in Austin. So I parented differently from that moment, June 13th, 2008 on into now. She just turned 21 last week, and it's like watching all those ages, but those conversations. And unfortunately, or fortunately probably from my perspective, unfortunately maybe for hers, she was surrounded by it because I was running Colin's Hope, and I was talking about, I was driving a car that had Colin on the side of it, and everyone knew me as the water safety lady. So her experience, like, because I asked her a couple questions too before coming here, and was water safety was always there, but it was sort of forced because it was a lived experience 24 hours a day.
That's a trauma. I mean, that's a trauma. That's a big trauma.
But I guess like my question then is like, okay, like obviously I was taught water safety, right? Like you guys had your experience, you had your experience. Like, what is it? Lack of knowledge? Is it lack of access? Is it like what is it? Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say, like,
Yeah, it does. And I don't know.
because like for me, like when I'm thinking back to when we did the swim lesson with the Ravens, and some of them grew up in a country club lifestyle, right? Where you have access to a pool, where others didn't have that opportunity, right? So the guys that didn't have the opportunity had never fully submerged their face underwater, right? As a 30-year-old man.
So, but in that, the players that had access, could they swim?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
They
well,
took, right,
like-
yeah. So.
yeah, you could train them and they could be
I
swimmers.
wonder.
I think it's access. I also think it is knowledge, and I think it's experience. And there's a lot of cultural things that come into play around. Do you
Respect.
even go to the water?
Right.
Do you,
Yeah.
that?
And if parents
Trauma.
are afraid, right?
Oh, it's generational.
Don't
Yeah.
you hear that all the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We come across that too, and it's passed down.
Correct.
Oh, 100%.
sure. Like I have kids my age, like friends I grew up with. No, I don't know how to swim. Like, why have you not asked me?
Right,
How
like,
long have we,
I think
how
I
long
can
have we been
help,
friends,
yeah.
and now you're just bringing this up to
It
me?
must
you
be
think
interesting
they're
trying to
scared
teach
of
an
it?
adult how to swim.
It's crazy.
So different.
It is so different.
Because I mean, naturally, you just have so many things body-wise that you habits, I guess, the routines that you create, and it's harder to get into certain positions.
I think
And
a
if
lot of it
there's
has to do
fears,
with geography.
It's even worse. Yeah, for sure.
Correct.
A lot of it has to do with geography. Like here in Arizona, almost every single house has a pool.
Yeah.
Right? You grow up with it. It's part of your life every day. You know, a kid that grows up in Wisconsin, or Michigan,
Maybe with
or
lakes,
whatever,
though.
maybe not.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Right?
different.
Well,
Call you
yeah,
out on that
different.
one. Sorry.
Different water.
Yeah.
Well, like I
bodies of
go
water.
every summer to the Bahamas, to the Eleuthera, the island of Eleuthera, and we teach kids and then we teach adults. And it's so interesting. We're focusing on, when I go next month, focusing on teaching and working with women because the women have traumas, they have had hurricanes, they have, and they have that like just fear that then translates into I can't go in the water, which is beautiful surround, oh my gosh, like the crystal clear blue waters, but then it also turns into that generational thing of, well, my kids are not going to learn how to swim, and then we keep that cycle. It's like the cycle of poverty, you know, like you keep it going. So how do we break that? And it's so complicated. This is not an easy issue.
Yeah,
It's
pool
not.
space is the hardest.
And I mean,
right?
good or bad, like we went and watched Beckett read a poem in class, and his fear is drowning. And so I don't, you know, like obviously we're like, hey, water's dangerous, and now we've put that onto him, and hopefully he doesn't carry that into the future.
Right.
But he's still in the water. He's still laying on
Yeah.
the bottom. But it's like you need both, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to
Yes,
teach
right.
them get in the water
Where's the
and
be
respect?
safe,
It's the respect
Yeah.
of it.
right?
Yeah.
But also fear,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it is dangerous.
That's a fine line, isn't it, though? Now
It
I'm
is
thinking
a
about it. You
1000%.
want them to respect the water and understand that it's dangerous, but at the same time, you don't want them to be fearful.
Oh,
It's such
it's
a balancing
it's a
act.
total
Yeah.
like, and I've found that
Don't
'cause
do
I'm
that too much.
18
Michael's gonna throw the
Okay,
60.
no,
Oh, sorry.
the kids watch it. They'll just keep
Finally,
saying
after
that.
that, I finally know what that means now. I didn't know what that meant. It was like my anyway.
Yeah.
But that balance is so interesting, and for me, like I've been in this water safety space for 18 years now, and I grew up as a diver. I was never on swim team, but then a triathlete and an open water swimmer, and loved the water, and then started working with these families and have worked with over 100 families who've been impacted by drowning or a water-related tragedy, and now it's like this other thing, and balancing that is huge, and then communicating that as you educate, you know.
Do we find that, it is interesting because we talk about water safety and mainly it's around, surrounding children and all that, but as we're talking about different ages and stages, I mean, it's real with teenagers and adults. We
Big old
say
gap.
Anybody can drown.
All ages, all water.
Doesn't
All ages,
matter.
all water.
Doesn't
And-
discriminate.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I think it's that we have at the NDPA, we have these series of posters, and there's an infant, ages 1 to 4, 5 to 14, and then teenagers. I'm working on the adult one, but it's because the message changes and the situation changes. Like,
Yeah.
so we talk about parenting through the preschool to now the adult, and all the things that all those stages, the pool parties, the field trips, the going out on the boat, going to the lake without adult supervision, like as you get through.
But even being an
Get ready.
adult, where's your adult supervision as an adult?
So
right? Like you go out and have
dig
fun.
into that a little more.
Yeah.
Because what should we be doing as adults?
Talking, first of all, is like the continual conversation. Like we're talking about it. How many families don't have this conversation? I mean, I think that's what we're trying to do. At least I know
Yeah.
that's one of the things I'm trying to do in this work is
Yeah.
get people to realize we have to talk about this. Like the stuff you're talking about, the crossing the street, the
Right.
bike helmets, the
Right.
car seats, all the other things, and then don't stop. Like start early,
Yeah.
bathtub, first acclimation to water, and then just keep the conversations going and know that it shifts. I mean, I remember the first, hey, it's a pool party invitation, and I
Yep.
was just, that was my worst nightmare.
It's like dread.
And yes.
You get the invite and you're like, no.
Yes, are there going to be
why?
lifeguards? Are there going to be
Yeah. How
water
many dogs?
watchers?
Pre-K, like what
I-
is going on
yes.
here?
You have
Were you
30
not the one,
pre-kids.
was it last time you told a story, or maybe it was just you and I talking about you all were invited, or the kids were invited to a pool party, but there was nothing. There
No.
was no water watcher, there was no lifeguard.
And we're talking about 4 and 5-year-olds.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And you don't
So
have
what do
any
you
of
do
that.
in that situation?
But it was fun.
because I'll tell you what I
There
did.
was like,
But it was also, but it was me and Misty were there.
Yes.
Right? There's
Yes.
2 Olympic
Right.
medalists, swimmers.
Yeah.
So it's on you there.
As parents, they're like, oh, they're there. We're
They're there,
fine.
no
No
problem.
worries.
You
We're
were the
good.
water watchers.
Yeah.
But like Misty ended up getting
we
in the
weren't.
water, and we
Yeah.
weren't. But I mean, all
we
the parents were standing around the pool.
There was
Yeah,
a water
that's-
There's
slide with
60
a pool,
people standing around the
and
pool.
then a pool, and you've got little kids,
Like
and
30 kids.
4 and 5-year-olds plus siblings,
Nightmare.
tearing around this
Yeah.
yard. A total nightmare.
This causes me anxiety.
Exactly.
thinking about
Like
it.
we're
Like,
there,
yes,
like on
yes.
edge, like watching all the
chaos.
kids. Like you want to pay attention to just your kids, but now you're
can't.
watching all
Situation,
kids.
you
Can't
are-
understand,
yeah.
It's everybody.
So if it was, I don't want to say done right or correctly, but what would that have looked like?
a lifeguard per
Probably
number of
2
kids,
lifeguards,
right? Like
yeah.
is that-
Lifeguards, but then also designated water watchers. And I volunteered, much to Ella's dismay, probably, because this
Yeah.
was like a 7th grade party. And I called to ask the questions.
Here we
I'm
go.
like, how are you going to have lifeguards? Is
Yep.
anybody going to be watching? And they're
Yep.
like, oh, well, those are good questions. No, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to volunteer, much to, again, Ella's dismay. I'm like, I'm coming with you to this party.
You're
But
driving
they
the
had,
water safety car ready.
They
You
had,
are-
well, yeah, I drove
yeah.
up in the Collins Hope car. But they have
Set up a table right in the front yard.
Yeah, handing out the water watcher lanyards. Like I am their worst nightmare of every parent and every child and my own child. But they had like a infinity edge thing that kids were jumping off into the lower pool, which I think I had more anxiety at that 2
Yes.
hours of. But then I didn't want to be the ones like, you can't do that, you can't. So I was there literally
have a
on
whistle?
guard.
Yeah.
I did have a whistle. And they did hire lifeguards actually after I raised the question. So the City of Lakeway lifeguards, who I did a lot of training for them. I'm like, how's this working out for y'all? And they were just like, this is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yet lifeguards don't like it.
Oh, no,
They do
because
not
it
like
makes
it.
it's
Yeah.
very stressful.
Yeah.
So is there like a number of lifeguards you should have per kid? Like 1 per 5?
I mean, there's
1 per
ratios
7,
for like commercial pools, and so I don't know, like a home pool at a party like that. I feel like
2 or 3
30
lifeguards?
kids for 1 lifeguard is a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
And
Well, I
there's
also
a lot
think
of
pool size matters too, right? And like how many
viewpoints
kids are
and
in the water,
if there's a
and
water
what can
slide or a
access
thing they're
a
jumping
diving
off of.
board and all the fun stuff.
When you become exposed to the stories and you work with these families,
You know.
Yep.
you know, and you see it in such a different light, and you know we've all agreed it is so hard, I think, to do what we do and want to do. And you know, to your point, Michael, it's like, what is this? Is it lack of knowledge? Is it lack of what did we say last time? I mean, you beat your head up against the same wall, I feel. Is it you know, the fact that your boys have swimming at school. I mean, why are we not
Doing that everywhere.
Why are we not doing that everywhere?
Well,
There
I
are-
could give you all the
Access to
all the
pools,
I can provide you with
yeah, there
reasons
go.
and the money and the, but
Yeah.
but in
Yeah.
theory, and there are countries that do. Like I'm
There
pretty
are.
sure Canada,
Yes.
you cannot graduate without
Correct.
being
See,
water competent.
I think that is amazing, and it's like, you think about it. How many water is? By the way, it is such a form of what's the word I'm looking for? Fun. I mean, right? I mean, let's go swimming. You have people, your friends
Lifelong.
over this lifelong.
Lifelong.
I mean, it is entertainment.
And again,
also.
how can you not find a way to make it
Right. So
mandatory? Because at that
Mandatory.
point, then how many lives are you saving each year?
Honestly.
Blah, 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 blah,
And it's-
right? Like,
we've
over
said
a
this
lifetime.
before, it's
or having an
educating-
opportunity, excuse me,
Yeah.
an
Yeah,
opportunity
right.
to save a life.
And we're taking
Right.
steps, I have to say, like certain states in terms of legislation are passing. I know Louisiana has a law, so it actually passed that you have to do, now this is water safety education, not in water swim lessons, but they have, in Louisiana, it is a state law that there has to be water safety education in the schools. Michigan, I believe, because I just wrote a support letter for this particular bill, is attempting a similar thing. It's a step closer, but you know, dreaming of why don't we have federal legislation that mandates it? I mean, it's tied to money, honestly,
It is.
and
It
access
is.
pools. Like I live in a community
Very
where
much
there is not a pool,
Yeah.
where we could
Seriously.
even do this. We have an endless pool situation, and that's it, where swim lessons are. But so there's aquatic deserts, but there are countries like Bangladesh and Vietnam and Nepal that are doing amazing things with mobile swimming pools or turning their open water into, if we were to, I'm on part of a global Rotary Club for water safety and drowning prevention, so I have people from all over the world and they talk about what's happening in other countries, and we could take some lessons for how people are doing it, because there's mobile pools. You set them up. San Diego and I think LA have done this, where they set up mobile swimming pools in a parking lot, and they teach them lessons there because they don't have enough pools. So we can be doing, there are tractor trailers. I dream of this tractor trailer pool. I think they're doing it in France, where they have a 18-wheeler and it is a pool and they drive that thing around.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I mean, they built a pool in Main Street in Disney.
You can put
a pool
pools
in
anywhere.
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Temporary. Yep. I
Putting
swam
pools in
down. I
football
swam down
stadiums,
Main
they
Street
could figure it out.
Really?
in 2004. 2004.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every single pool they're doing now, they're building it inside football stadiums.
They are.
Right?
Or
Like
even
basketball
like
arenas.
The baseball field.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Has that as well.
So there's hope.
So there is hope. So when we
That's
talk
why I
about
gotta have hope.
legislation and things like that, and maybe you jump in too on this, how do you all feel about, one of my dreams is every pool should have a barrier or layers of protection, right? Because we do the pool fencing, we also do door alarms, and we do
covers.
door closers.
Yeah.
And I know some in Arizona, right? I mean, if you
Yeah, I mean, so look, there are laws on the books, but they only pertain to new pool construction.
Yep.
Right?
Correct.
There's no way to grandfather everybody else in. So you go and buy a house, an existing home, there's nothing that says, hey, you need to bring this pool up to code, like you do with a brand new pool. Here in Arizona, you're able to bring a new construction pool up to code various different ways. If you do a pool fence, you don't have to worry about anything else. If you don't do a pool fence, now we have to look at every single door in the house. It has to be self-closing, self-latching, have a high latch up. Any gate leading to the backyard needs to swing towards the street, be self-closing and self-latching. So there are various rules on the books. Arizona is one of the most stringent. Florida
California
is one of the most stringent. California, well,
But they're all state. They're all state.
well, they're all states,
Yeah.
and they're all three of those states have the highest
Highest,
number
yeah.
of drownings, right?
and
So
probably the
that's-
largest number of pools.
So, the drowning prevention space is very reactive instead of proactive, right? It's like how many accidents have to happen at that intersection before they put a stop sign or a stoplight up. I think they have a quota that they have to meet, right, before they're willing to talk about it and do anything about it. And I kind of feel like it's the same thing with drowning. Like there's so many other things that we could be doing. I mean, every time a house changes hands, we can say, hey, this needs to be brought up to current safety standards, right? A home built in the 60s or 70s in Central Phoenix, there weren't any laws on the books pertaining to this. Well, now there are, right? So there are ways that we could do this. Now, I don't know even where to start with that. Do you start
Yeah.
a city council, you start a state legislature?
I think you have to go
know.
both, like from the city municipal level, but then also, I mean, we have a lot of work that's being done at the federal level. I mean, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz from Florida is the carrier of, says she bleeds chlorine is what they say or whatever, but she is trying to pass, she's about to introduce a new Drowning Prevention Act, hopefully soon, which it includes things like barriers and also, swim lessons and water safety and
So what's interesting to me is they have, in Florida and in Arizona, both have relatively new laws on the books pertaining to rental homes,
oh yeah,
specifically short-term rentals.
vacation
okay?
rentals, yep.
So if you do a VRBO or Airbnb or if you rent a house from a big management company, like we did a few years ago, all of our family met in Orlando. We rented this house through a big management company down there, and it has a pool fence up, and every single door has an alarm on it, right? Why? Because that's the law there. That's what you have to do on a short-term rental. So why are we only concerned with short-term rentals and not a home that has 3 or 4 little kids living in it?
Well, there's also
You
that
know?
stigma of I'm not putting a pool fence up because it's ugly.
it's ugly.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
like, okay, what's ugly? I am so sorry. I'm not trying to be
No.
insensitive.
We've
You
said
have
it.
to.
A child drowning or a pool fence.
Yeah.
Or
Nicole,
somebody
we've said
drowning
that.
or a pool.
Yeah,
But it's
we've had to say
horrible.
that, and it's horrible that you honestly have to say that.
Yes.
No judgment here, but it's like, to me, I don't understand this, right? And especially if it's temporary.
That's the thing. I mean, we put a pole fence up. We've said this before. Prior to even moving into our home, that pole
Yes.
fence was up because, God forbid, we're not living in that home, and a
right.
kid gets in our
Yeah.
backyard
That's it.
and thinks they need to go swim.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
we don't want that.
Yeah,
And
I
we
mean,
know because we work with families that those situations happen. And
happens.
you know, I have a friend who
Yeah.
lost his daughter in a backyard pool, drowning, was in their part of their hot tub, but she drowned because he didn't want to put the fence up because he thought it was going to be ugly. And you listen to him talk now, and he's like, "Yeah."
You get that all the time. Right?
I
It's
run
true.
it.
It's
I
gonna be
mean,
so
hundreds and
Yeah,
hundreds.
but
of
how do we
times.
get
Yeah.
ahead of that?
that
Like,
stigma.
let's not
It's
get
like-
there. Well, that is a whole nother conversation that
I
I
know,
want
and
to
I'm
have.
sorry.
with-
Put
Oh, no,
glass
no,
up, then
no,
put
no, no.
glass up,
No,
and
no,
then
no.
you don't see
Right.
anything.
No,
No,
right.
but
You know what I mean?
but
Let's
everyone's
have
like,
it
it's not going to
because-
happen
yes,
to
then
me.
it's not gonna
It's
happen
not
to me.
this.
That
Yeah,
part.
no,
Correct.
it's not us. And then
Correct.
it does, and then
It
you're like,
can.
oh shit. Like
Right,
now
yeah,
what?
yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
hindsight. Like no, just be proactive. Like you were saying, like we can do things again to protect ourselves and add layers to make sure that things don't happen.
You know, we talked a lot earlier about having conversations, right? Well, in our home, I don't remember talking about it a lot. It was just
We did it.
common sense. Like,
We
like
did it. We just, yeah.
we have something in our backyard that's dangerous to our children, right? Why aren't we going to protect them? Like, to me, it's just like, how do you not think about that?
Yeah, I don't know, but people, I mean,
Well-
people don't for whatever reason. That's like the key. I feel like if we can unlock that, like, what is
Yeah.
it? Why is it not common sense? Like, why is it for us and not for, I mean, I've been trying to figure that out for 18
Yeah.
years.
I think
How's
that's
the
a
message
good-
going to land?
Right.
with
I think
anyone?
that's a good point when he says we didn't talk about it much. We didn't talk about it much.
Yeah.
There was no discussion.
Exactly. Yeah, we
it
didn't
was-
talk about it.
It was
like,
happening,
it's done.
right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, discussions with the children.
Yes.
But this is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
This is what.
This is what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you know? It's like how do you get the people?
And it
to-
certainly wasn't an argument between the two of us, like I see
no,
so many times.
like we see. And then we have these discussions with grandparents, right? You know, this is a whole other, honestly, ballgame. And when Brantley was born, you know, his parents had a pool too, and it was, hey, she'll come over as soon as that fence is up.
Yeah.
As soon as that, and of course they were there. Oh yes,
Yeah.
of course. You
It
know,
wasn't even
I
a
mean, it
question.
wasn't even a question.
Yeah.
But it just. Yeah.
That's, I think that one is like some of the generational stuff too. Is like very
Yeah.
different than now than maybe, I don't know, however many years ago that the grandparent thing. I get calls all the time that's like, my parents won't put up a fence. What can you send them? So that, you know, and I had a call
What do
this
you
week
say?
with
What
a
do you
grandfather in Florida whose grandson drowned in their backyard pool a year ago, and now he wants to do something, and we cried on the phone
Yeah.
because the guilt. I mean, but I don't know how to get.
Well, and then you're
know?
talking. Okay, we're talking about able-bodied children, right? What about children who have autism?
Autism,
Yeah,
or-
and they get out.
Wandering, eloping.
They go through a dog
Yep.
door.
They
Like
do.
there's any number of reasons that they get outside, and they're attracted to the water because
Yeah,
it makes
that's
them
right.
feel safe.
Yep.
It does.
And in that case, those layers of protection, because stuff's going to happen. People are human, and that, you know. So it's the fence.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
No,
the
I mean,
alarm. It's
we've
the
definitely
lock.
met with families,
Yeah.
especially you know with autism, that I mean they want to do everything that we possibly can.
Yep.
You know, they want alarms, high latches.
Yeah.
How tall
Tracker,
can we make this
wearables,
fence?
everything.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
and I love dealing with families like that because it's not, oh well, how's this going to look?
Well, it's also
You
like
know,
that's like there was an autistic kid that used to swim with us. He would swim in the lane next to us, and for me, like I've always found that's their passion, that's their joint. Yeah, like that's
happy
like they just get
place.
to be.
It's-
right. You literally like I would hear Mason like screaming and yelling and just being so happy in the water. So yeah, like naturally they know like people who have kids with autism, right? Like that is something that truly helps them just be themselves.
They're 160 times more likely to drown than their neurotypical peers. Like, we just started a partnership with the Autism Society of America, and I'm so excited because we're
so
launching.
That's amazing.
They're taking the resources that the NDPA has and adapting them for the autism community. So things like social stories, which is how you can better communicate with someone who's autistic, and verbal communication, visuals, and things like that. Like, those are, I'm excited
Game
about those
changers.
kinds of things because
Yeah.
it's different.
It is different,
It's a very
and
different.
I have a soft spot for everybody, but I have to say, in a case like that, there's great satisfaction in that, right? I just, that's awesome that you guys are partnering with them, but.
Well, that I don't want to be the expert. We don't want to be the expert
Right.
of everything, so we
Right.
want to work with the experts to
Right. Takes a village,
do that,
as we say,
but, yeah.
you know, I think, and then I think that's a good point too. Again, when we talk about even ages and stages, there's, you know, many other different arenas. I think, you know, with autism and, you know, many other things that you, and I think, like you said, it might. Do you feel like it looks different?
for.
You know, if you're dealing with, say, an autistic family.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I did a podcast with the Autism Society. We were talking about when you're going on vacation, like, how can families who are have a child who's autistic, how do they prepare differently? Like, how do you, when they arrive at their vacation rental, like, is it you bring your own alarms, you bring the, I mean, it's very different. I felt a lot of gratitude that I didn't have to parent in that space. I can't imagine how stressful that is. And the
of
wandering,
layers.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, and just the constant nervousness about, like, is the wandering, the elopement going to happen? Where did they go? Like, that is adds a whole. I have so much compassion
Yes.
for those families because it's hard, and I haven't walked in those shoes. But you got to do even more.
Right. So now that your daughter's 21, do you still still show up?
Yeah, at the pool party.
Okay, no, but okay, two really funny stories. So we celebrated her 21st birthday. No, but I do. I
need to know
No, yeah, okay. So we celebrated her 21st birthday last weekend in San Diego, and we went sea kayaking. And every one of it was like three of her friends, college and high school, and a couple of us adults, and everyone had to wear the life jacket, and we even wore the helmets, which thankfully I think I probably still have the bruise coming in. Like, we flipped over in the kayak, the big double kayak hit me, but they did not argue about the putting on the life jackets because they know better. Like, they're all 21, 22, and they're like, everybody's wearing them. I think that lifelong awareness. I mean, she's in oceanography. She's got her degree in oceanography, and she's about to get another degree in seafloor mapping, and so water is her world. But I feel like it's ingrained, whether it might have been a lot because of the work that I did, but I also know that she's protected. And then that I watch her interact with her friends, and she doesn't necessarily talk about it. Like, you probably won't hear her say anything, but she follows the rules.
So I think for us, it's paying attention to what the 2-year-old is doing, right? Because it's different toddler stage, a little bit crazier. They kind of jump in when they want to, but making sure there's an adult, a water watcher. The boys also have eyes on him. They're all comfortable in the water. So our biggest goal always and forever has been be comfortable and confident in the water.
Yeah.
Would you add anything to that? Where we are in our life?
No, but I mean, I think like the conversation that we've had, they have an understanding. Like, the three olders have an understanding, right? And it is because it's been
And
a part of their
respect.
life for as long as they can remember.
Ocean,
Everything, all of
boats,
it. Just
swimming
access to a
pools.
water or access to a body of water. Like, so I think it's like those three are really good at making sure all of the steps are in place before doing anything.
Before doing it, and it's great because Nico can see that, right?
That's
Love that.
he's
They're
models.
training him
They're
up.
modeling.
And what
for
great,
him.
what
Good role
great
models.
example for his brothers
Yes.
to be building
Yeah.
that in him and his parents. Like, that's like a dreamy
It's exactly
situation.
Yep.
Thanks for doing the dream.
Yeah.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
But it's not easy, right? When you,
No, and it
But it was
changes,
still
right?
changes.
It changes
Right,
at
like-
each age. So you guys have
right.
8. Where are you? 16.
We are 21, almost in 18.
18,
right?
okay, that's
and so to that point, I mean, you know, it was so great. We just posted these pictures on the social not too long ago of Jason and the girls playing in the pool. You know, and it was fun time. I mean, we were always in the pool with them. It is true, and you know, it was so good to see because I'm like, pool fences around there. It
That was
just
when they were like 2 and 4. or
yes, and
something
it was
like
a
that.
water
Yeah.
fight on the pad, you know, and it just that's you want that peace of mind, right? You want to be in the pool with them yourselves, having fun because this is fun, but we want to respect, you know, the water. So that was early on. It was really awesome, honestly, to see those photos because you do forget, right? You forget. In doing what we do too, it's like, this is why. Like, I just can't imagine if we didn't have layers of protection. And I really think at that point, we even had door alarms. We had something else. I
Yeah,
remember.
we had high latches and
we
a
had-
pool fence.
you know,
yeah. The girls couldn't get into the backyard without us.
They could not. It just because, again, we know we want eyes on our kids, but realistically, you know, you have to go to the bathroom. You're doing whatever, and it happens in a split second. So they were aware of that, you know. They understood. So the way that we parented too, you know, everything was always explained. I never wanted them to say ever, "Why do I need to do that?" Because I said so. That was those words never existed in our household, right? On anything, because I just don't believe in that.
Mine wouldn't accept that.
Right. Well, and I don't want them to accept
Right.
that. You know, I want to raise them to ask questions and to be inquisitive, and they always did it in a very respectful way. There was mutual respect between us. So this was no different, even at a young age. It's like, you know, and I honestly am wondering if I want to post this because there was a time where sweet little Bree, our firecracker, we were outside, had grabbed the chair, and I think I did send this to our media company, grabbed the chair and put it up against the fence and the gate.
Yep.
What I loved and realized looking back is there's no way she could open it, even because the gates open outward, right? And there's a lock and key. But the example was, boy, they sure did try.
Creative.
Oh, they always try.
I have my own parental fail, or felt like a fail.
Yeah.
Because Ella was 5, and we lived in a condo, and the condo had a isolation fence, and it was high, but it was climbable. And so there was grass out between the patio doors and the fence. And I was inside, because she and her friend were playing, and I'm like, do not go to the pool. We will go when I come outside. And so I'm watching them, go to the fence, and I watch them climb the fence. And I'm ooching closer because I want to see if they're actually going to do it.
Yep.
They made it over the fence and in the pool, and then I hauled them out, and there was some lovely words. But I'm like, you know what I do. Like, this is, but they were 5 at the time. So it's like,
Isn't
very
that the
real.
hard thing? It's like, you know what we do. You know what we teach.
But
you know
you
what
are also 5 years old, and your frontal lobe is not developed enough.
But isn't that a good point in that we can
are-
talk and have conversations, but even when we do that, it doesn't mean
doesn't
our eyes are
always
on. It
mean-
doesn't mean we've checked out.
I mean,
because
but it's also like, we're human. Everybody's
That's
human.
it.
Listeners are human,
That's
right?
exactly
So
right.
I know at this stage, now I have an official adult, and so I've parented. I've made it that far, and I just hope now that all the years of talking about this will now translate into whatever it is that she does in her life, whether she's an ocean explorer because she's going to be doing that, and there's water safety that's applicable there, or in her future just to take it into the life, because water, it should be around us throughout our lives.
Correct.
It's such a place of health, can be, but it's also dangerous.
And I think at some point, right, and not that you want to check out on that front, but I think when we launch them too, you know, you think back and you say, have I taught them everything? Is there anything you run that, and in the same in water safety, and as Brantley and I were talking today before we went on, she said, you know, Mom, one of the things I remember most is, you know, you saying to us at a very young age, you are not to go outside without one of us. And she said, and I just remembered that, you know, and so even being, you know, I mean, you know, she's in college. By the way, they have a lot of pools in the college campuses. Okay, 4 or 5 of them, and she's like, and she looks at it in a different way because of, you know, what we've done. She goes, I can't even believe why do we not have a fence around this pool? I have to know. Mom, some of them act like toddlers, and she means that with all, you know, love, but the point is, doesn't matter how old you it just doesn't matter. So I think now I look back and I'm like, you hope that we've covered it all, right? That and they've gone out to the lake, the local lake here, and you will hear me asking questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's so much water. I mean, I just think of
Well, that's the
mine
point. Yeah,
as a
there's-
world.
yeah.
She's a world traveler and wants to go all over, and I get the reports back in around the
Right.
the one life jacket on the boat.
73% or something.
74%
or
of the. I think that's right. Maybe
What
someone's
is
going to
this?
correct us.
The world's planet is
water.
covered by
It
water.
is. I heard it used to be 80.
It's
but I
it's
don't
over
know.
70%
Yeah.
of
Well, that is a good point too. It's every.
that. Yeah, everywhere.
So we probably have a lot of stories to share of water issue because we've got boys. Like
Yeah. They're
I
wild.
hate to say it,
They're
but
wild.
boys are a little bit more
You've got
daring,
four
I
of
think,
them.
and we have 4.
Yeah.
And so
Just push boundaries.
they do. They push
Yeah.
it back, and they're curious. I mean, they're like Boomer's climbing the pool fence to see if he can get in, and the other one's pulling on it because they know it comes out. So it's like we know we can't put a bench in front of it, so we know if one of us pulls up and the other pulls up,
They're team working it by the
Yeah.
way.
that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
problem. And they're
Yeah.
all close. Like the first 3 are close in age. Comes to my newest story that Michael hasn't heard. We have a cold tub in our backyard, and our latch is broken on our very high fence that no one can climb. And I'm looking for Nico.
That's why you keep latching it.
That's why I keep latching it. I'm looking for Nico. Nico's MIA. Like, you don't have a pool fence around a cold tub.
Right.
Because we have a high fence, but the latch, again, is broken. So the hose is there to keep the fence closed so the dogs can't get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, fence is open. Where's Nico? I walk over and I'm like, Nico. And he's like, Mom, I'm feeling the cold tub. He's got the lid up and arm in the cold tub like this. And I'm like, no wonder you were silent.
Uh-huh.
Thank
Jeez.
God this is all that this was.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm like, we do not play it. The whole thing,
Right.
2-year-olds, you can only get so
much.
angry with a
Yeah.
2-year-old. We close it up and I latch it. So this morning we're getting ready. He goes out on the patio because the patio is off of our bathroom
Yeah,
patio.
so you should have told me this stuff, then I would have latched it.
Just keep listening. So this morning, it gets better. So this morning he walks out and he goes, Mom. And he points to the latches and he locks the latches.
Oh.
And he walks away. And I was like,
Oh.
oh my God, okay. Lesson learned. Thank
Yes.
God you retained this. You got it.
But that's actually really beautiful.
right?
Yeah.
It's like comes full circle, but in the
Yes.
same token, it's like we're doing our daily habits, right?
Right.
We
Right.
forget to close the dog door. We forget to lock the top
So
latches.
true.
Like
It's so
there's
true.
so many.
Now I get why it's closed.
Yeah,
Like I literally
now you know
like,
why it's
'cause,
latched.
like typically in the morning I'm like I'm half asleep when I go out there and I just literally want to go like this and just get in and like okay
Yeah.
there it is.
Right.
And last couple of times I'm like things not opening. I'm like what's going on? I'm like why is it locked? Now I know. Yeah. So
Well, see, I saved it for here, so you
Now I
guys
know.
can see
now I
Michael's
know my
reaction
to it.
to me making sure we're pull safe.
Well, now I need to be more pull safe and latch that.
Well, we
because
get
the
into
latches are
habits,
there.
And that's
right?
No, for sure.
That's
We,
it.
Good point.
we get into those habits, those routines,
Yeah.
whatever it is, but it is, again, it's the smallest thing that can make the biggest difference. And yeah, a cold tub is that deep, but it doesn't matter.
2 inches.
It doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying.
Sorry,
Like,
that
it
was
doesn't
3.
matter.
2 inches. That's a lot bigger than 2.
But like that's what I was trying to say. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter deep or shallow it is. Like it can
buckets
happen.
of water.
Yeah.
I'm always like,
It can
why
happen.
is there a bucket of water here? And you're throwing it out.
Yeah,
I
It's
would do
like
this. I would always turn them
everything.
over.
Yeah,
Yes.
dump- I would go on a
Yeah.
run in my neighborhood and I'd see somebody with their kiddie pool or
Yes.
whatever, and I would be like,
Oh,
I
it
would turn on
drives-
the ring
drives
doorbell
me
camera, then I'm
crazy.
like running over and
Yeah.
flipping the thing and tipping it over.
Yeah.
I'm that person. Sorry,
I
City
love it.
Blake
I'm
Way.
getting all the visuals. I love it. It takes a village and it's teamwork.
100%,
Right? I mean,
yes.
it's,
Without
Yes.
it really truly does.
Yeah.
And nobody can really check out at any given time. I think that's also
And I would
a
love
big-
to.
I know, right?
Yeah.
No, it's
Oh,
There are
I-
definitely
I have said
moments
so
where
many
I would
times,
love
I'm
to
like,
check out.
honey, like I'm checking out. I'm not gonna be a dad today. You
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
Gosh.
I mean, because as if it isn't hard enough in
Correct.
life, and you're tired enough,
Yes.
and it just.
But it's important.
It's important,
It is.
right? I mean, it's like
is.
anything else in life. You've got to be consistent and diligent with it, and aware. And just when I think we've thought of everything, they show us something
100%.
different.
100%.
Keeping us on our toes.
We're on number 4.
Right,
And I'm
yeah,
like, okay,
We don't have any more
approached
though.
This
We
one.
don't put them.
Yeah.
Is there ever a right time to start it? Like the conversation about water safety? I mean, obviously we know it's too late once something happens, right? Like how can we promote or get parents to literally just listen to the basics, right? Like the layers of safety for our own children's protection.
I don't think it's ever too late to start the conversation, even if you're entering this conversation and you have kids that are 7, 8, 9, 10 teenagers. Never too late. And I also don't think it's ever too early. Like, I know I just put together a resource for expecting and new parents on water safety, because let's start before it even happens and know that it's the conversation. Get in the pool, get in the conversation wherever you are. I think it's an invitation to parents. Like, don't feel, oh my gosh, I should have been talking to my kids 10 years ago. Start the conversation now.
And it's not like you're putting your kid in at an early age because they're going to be the next me, right? Like, you're doing it for the safety of that child. And
But that's why you started.
it is, but I'm saying, like,
The end goal.
yeah, like your
Yeah,
end goal is
yeah.
the safety of your child, right?
Correct.
Like, for me, that's the reason why I got in, and yeah, naturally it became that. But we all should just start thinking that way, right? Like, you know, like my mom, that's the reason why I was in the water at an early age, and probably the reason why our kids were in the water at an early age, right? So I think what I would do is I would want everybody to just jump on board, right? No matter how old, no matter how young your kids are, it's never too late.
I mean, you're sending your kids to college. Like, you want them to know water safety going to
Are they going to
college, 'cause
spring
you don't know
break?
what
Are
they're
they
getting
going to their
exposed
friends?
What's
Yeah,
the
for sure.
appropriate, again, the message changes at each age or stage, but start where you are.
And it's never too late.
Yeah.
I mean, even you had a great example that you talked about earlier of an old man who's 80 years old, doesn't know how to
Yes.
swim. Like, put that life jacket
it on.
and you
He's
just
like, no,
started
I'm
that conversation.
good. I'm
Yes.
good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom has at her independent living place, they have a pool and she does water aerobics and whatever.
Yep.
And so I go there and that lifeguard hates to see me show up to like do the water aerobics. I was like,
See, it's never too late.
Swim cop's back. Swim cop is
there
back.
she is. Jeez. Yeah.
But we've done safety fences for retirement communities, or the
They're single family homes that
Serve as
serve
yeah.
as retirement
their
homes.
retirement homes.
And that, so there again, the law requires that, right? Or if
Yeah.
you foster or adopt a child, you're required to have a pool fence. Well, what if you just have one?
Yeah.
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 Your
Like,
own
what-
kid.
why, why are the rules
Right.
different for
Right.
if you foster
Yeah.
or adopt a child?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, anywhere in America, if you foster or adopt a child, typically the rule is you have to have a pool fence.
I didn't know that rule.
I didn't
Yeah,
either.
here in Arizona, it's absolutely mandatory.
That is absolutely crazy then. Like, you say that, like,
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I don't want to say
like,
stupidity, but like,
Right.
what are we doing?
It is.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
Why
we're
wouldn't
not
you
giving
require
ourselves a
that?
chance.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
You're not giving your kids a chance.
Yeah.
correct.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And,
No.
and that's the
If you foster or adopt a child in the state of Arizona, it is mandatory that you have a 5-foot tall fence around your swimming pool. There are no exceptions. Up to the age of 18, we have done fences for people that are taking in a family member, a niece or a nephew or whatever that's 16, 17 years old, and the state still mandates that you have to fence the pool.
Look, the state is saying it's never too late.
Right.
Like, it's right. But we're not.
Have we not learned yet?
Telling
I mean,
our
we are.
parents.
Yeah, I mean, we are talking about government here, right?
yes.
But-
and that's frustrating, right?
Oh.
Because when you see the holes and
Yes,
again, it's just
yeah.
like, we don't understand that thinking. Like, it just doesn't add up, right? So it's.
But we
it's
never want to get
tough.
to that point where it is too late, right?
Exactly.
And no judgment when you
Exactly.
learn it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
1000%.
at whatever age you're learning, there's
That's
no
exactly
judgment
right.
to you. It's just, okay, cool, you just had the conversation. Now,
Right.
what proactive steps are you going
That's
to do?
exactly
Yeah.
right.
And then who do you pass that on to?
Correct,
Because I
that's what I
think
was gonna
that's
say.
the
Yeah.
that's
Help
the
us
key
broaden
too. Is
that
like
even bigger.
it's
Yeah.
the ripple. It's the we talked
Yep.
last time about standing on the mountaintop and having more people with their megaphones. Like
Yes.
we have to just talk about this.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
with your people, with your family, with your kids, with
Whoever.
your whatever
Classmates.
Yeah.
Coming to a pool party?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And maybe it's a challenge.
Only
Can you throw
lifeguards.
down some
Right.
sort of challenge? I feel
Right.
like people might listen to you.
Yeah, we got to think of one for the next pod. We got to come up with a good challenge for the next pod then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good idea. But so, and to your point, never too early, and then look, this starts in the bathtub,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. That's where they get comfortable.
Sink.
It's the first
Right?
acclimation is the bathtub.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we just put that
Put 'em in the
resource
sink
out.
first.
Because I'm like, we're
Yeah.
telling, pediatricians communicate this to your not your customers, your patients, your families.
Yeah.
This is the word.
I'm like,
So
yeah,
go up to the
customers,
OB-GYNs. Like that's where I'm going with it. And we've got like some hospital systems that are handing them out.
I mean,
giving out during
nurses,
discharge
brand
paper.
new
Oh.
baby, there should be some kind of pamphlet on
Yeah.
water safety.
New York State just passed a law last year, I believe, where when to leave the hospital, you have to watch the video. I still think sooner in prenatal visits because you're kind of
When you're walking out of the,
Yeah,
that's
you can't
bad.
process-
I'm sorry.
Why
I'm
is
sorry.
that a child?
I have done this
Well, it's
4
kind of
times.
like-
I am
yes,
not going to watch
right,
a water
you're-
safety
well-
video as I exit the
yeah.
hospital.
So I think
That is
they
not a
force you
shot.
to watch it.
Yeah.
It's similar to like you can't leave without
Yeah,
the
but
car
you're
seat.
probably like
that's,
this,
that's
like,
exactly.
trying to
That's why I
watch.
say go further up.
There's no way.
Yeah, it's progress, not perfection. Let's
Okay,
keep
okay.
making better progress.
Sorry.
So sooner.
Yes.
That is great,
Oh,
New
that's
York.
okay.
I am so glad
Yeah,
you're
New York.
doing that.
So we just went sooner in the prenatal visits.
No, but that is a
Yeah.
good point. And or how about when you honestly, if you can't do it then, which I get, because I mean, in the days leading up after you bring your baby home is a whole nother story. But when you have your pediatrician's visits,
That's the
and they
first
talk-
visit. You're sitting there waiting for 30 minutes
sitting
to
there
see a dang
anyway,
doctor.
you
Why not
are.
watch a video? Here's
Yeah.
your video to
you
watch.
know, or some sort of they give you
Yeah.
pamphlets on everything else.
And they are doing
Waiting
it
for a doctor
sometimes.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you do.
But I feel like it's the let's give them
you
all
have
the
a lens.
I
chances.
know. That's why I was saying that.
You know.
I was like, if I was getting ready to say, if you haven't been there with
I didn't.
her,
I didn't go to. I didn't go to those appointments
Don't let him
with
get
her.
away with that. He has
Listen.
been to some of those appointments.
Not many,
He has
though.
erased everything from memory.
So if we think about infants, what is one thing that we need to think about at that particular age about water safety?
I think at that point you just want your child to be comfortable, right? If you're getting them in the water and they're screaming and they hate it, that's not a good introduction to water.
Yeah.
Right. So the bathtub is the perfect place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you want to
acclimation.
pour water over their head, little squirt toys. Like you want them to understand that water can be fun.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Then at ages 1 to 4, which is, by the way, drowning is the single leading cause of death for that particular age group. So what is the focus there?
I think same thing. You want comfortable and confident. However, you want them to recognize that there's a danger to it. Obviously, at a 1-year-old, little different conversation than a 4-year-old.
Yep.
But teaching them, like crossing the street, this is dangerous. Behaviors, how to be in the water, and always with an
Layers.
adult.
Yeah.
Layers of protection.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect age to start those conversations about you ask permission and receive
Yeah.
permission before going in the water.
Yes.
You don't go to the water without an adult.
You're
those kinds of
only in
things.
the water with
Perfect.
mommy. No
water
getting
with
in
it.
here without,
Yeah.
or in
Yeah.
the bathtub.
Daddy.
Like
The rules.
Yeah.
The rules,
The
creating
basics.
those rules.
Yeah.
Okay, so then ages 5 to 14, that's a big age, but that's when we see kids starting to go to play dates and starting to be in water related situations without guidance.
Parents,
So, yeah.
What do you think?
Well, that's why I think like the water watchers, right? Like you're having a lifeguard or water watcher, or an adult, right? You're always around water with supervision.
Yep. And open water, different kinds of water. So that's a great chance to talk more about life jacket wearing and
Yeah.
specifically
Lifeguard pool parties.
Pool
Do you have a
parties.
lifeguard?
Every Disney cruise ship has lifeguards. They're the only cruise line that I'm aware of that has taken water safety seriously. So there are lifeguards in place all the time when the pools are open, and when the pools are closed, they have we couldn't do fences because of the way that the decking on those cruise ship decks are only about a 1/4 inch thick, believe it or not, of steel. That's it.
Holy crap.
that's terrifying.
So,
Kind of.
yeah, we were able to make some custom hardware and incorporate our safety nets that go over the pools. So those are able to be, stretched tight, where if a little one were to venture out on it, they're not going to be in a dangerous situation. But
How much weight can they hold?
yeah, well, it depends on the span of the pool,
Yeah.
right? It depends on the distance between the net and the water level,
Okay.
right? Typically, and I'm not a huge fan of the nets, all right? We offer them because people are looking for a solution, right? And it gets back to that argument of, oh, well, I don't want to look at a fence. So we'll have an inquiry about a safety net, okay? But once we get out to the home and we explain what's involved with taking this thing off and putting it back on, and they're kind of like, oh, well, yeah, maybe not, right? Maybe we don't want this because they're a giant pain to take on and off, right? I mean, by the time you get done doing that, you're hot and sweaty, you want to get back in the pool again, right? And for me, the conversation has always been, are you really going to take the time to put that back on every time you get out of the pool?
Right.
So it's Saturday, it's 100+ degrees outside, you guys are using the pool, you're going to stop for lunch. Are you going to go put that net back on the pool?
Yeah.
No, you're not. So, and now we have a completely exposed pool again,
Are the
right?
ones that are automated versus the regular cover, are they the same safety-wise?
An automatic pool cover is a great safety
Yeah.
barrier, okay?
Okay.
The challenge with those, and we do those,
Motors break.
right? I mean, we just did one a couple weeks ago for a pool in Mesa. And it's a great safety barrier. It basically turns your bed into your pool into a big water bed.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I could walk across it, right? And it's just kind of
Yep.
mushy like an old
Yep.
water bed, right? The challenge there is that you're limited to a rectangle shaped pool. Okay, not very many pools I see are rectangle shaped. Okay, in the Midwest and up in the Northeast, you'll see a lot of just 20 by 40 rectangle pools, very simple, basic pools. But here, and Arizona, California, Vegas, all these places where we're at, where there are a significant number of pools, very few are just straight rectangles. So yes, they're a great safety barrier, but the challenge is you're limited to the type of pool you can put it on.
So it's better just to put a fence up. Make it easy,
Well,
right?
yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because it's
It's the
safer, right? You
easiest,
can't climb.
right.
Like there's so many different
Right.
layers that brings compared to the others.
And it can work with any pool.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
configured to any pool,
Yep.
right? It's not a one size fits all. But I think that's a good point, and again, everybody thinks the other person is watching, and there's so many drownings that happen with multiple people around. It's like, I just wish that the Water Watcher program, that we roll out. It's like we have, and the kids have to understand who's watching too.
Yes.
And we're looking at each other, right?
Well, and people understanding how, I'm actually excited about this, and now I get a chance to talk about it. So we're working on some augmented reality water safety experiences, and the first one that we just are working on is about water watchers. And so it's designed to put the person in the experience and talk about what's a water watcher. Well, you can be our beta testers if you want, but anyway, I'm very excited because it's
That's right.
the whole concept of, we say water watchers, but a lot of times people have don't
What
actually
that
know what
is
that
and
means.
what
But
that means.
Yeah. So that's
right?
coming soon, which is really exciting.
Love that. We
But-
want to be included
yeah,
in that list.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about water safety for teenagers, because that's a message that is different, and potentially that's when alcohol can start entering into that conversation.
Correct.
And we haven't talked about summer camps either, because that's a whole nother thing about water safety at different ages. So what do we want to tell our teenagers? And this is prep work for you, teen.
gosh,
here.
I want to hear it.
Go
Tell
ahead.
us.
Come on, team.
Yeah, both of you guys, tell us
Give it
everything,
to us.
please.
And that's, I think, again, just having that conversation with Brantley, it does look very different, if they're going out to the lakes or whatever. My questions are, number one, how you getting there, right? And look, our girls have chosen not to have alcohol, right, in their teenage years, but that doesn't mean that those conversations still don't happen, because others could, and we want to cover it all, right? But that comes into play in teenage years, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's that. It's okay. How many people are going is typically what I ask, and typically it's a boat, or it could be another pool party, and it just looks different. Is anybody drinking? Is there a responsible driver? Because it isn't only just in cars, and now we're around open water, and maybe we have a teenager who's going to be driving a boat who's decided that they're not the DD.
Yeah,
right?
or personal watercraft.
Or personal
I mean,
watercraft.
those-
Anything.
Anything.
Like that.
I mean, and the life jacket conversation is,
Yes, it's-
and I have used this with my child, and I encourage parents to use it, is I use examples. Like, I work with Dana Gage and the LV Project. She lost her 15-year-old son, Connor, in a lake drowning because he wasn't wearing a life jacket, and he was a lake kid. I share those stories because I show those faces, because we have these families that are courageous enough to share their stories. So, I mean, I go to that, and that's a good way to make it really applicable to that particular age group.
Correct.
They see their peer. They see someone who looks like them,
Yeah.
and so I would say use those stories.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it
You
resonates.
do. It resonates.
Real
It's not going to
life
resonate a 4-year-old who drowned.
That's
well, I'm
exactly
15. Then that's
Yeah. That's a
child.
baby, that's
And
a toddler.
So then you look at, oh, there's Connor, or there's Josh, or
That's
there's
right.
a kid that is my age. I mean, I feel like that's a great strategy for that age group.
I mean, conversation too, like, and I think this goes as young as probably 8 years old, but that conversation of when you're tired, you get out of the water.
Yeah.
Right?
Decision making, yeah.
Because the decision making slows down, how much you can hold your breath, like what you can intake. Like there's that also that conversation of remove yourself.
Yeah.
I knew I
And
should have told that to Bob when I was swimming.
I need to remove myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hindsight.
I'm really tired today,
If you
Coach.
got out of the pool
I'm
every,
out of here.
if you got out of the pool every time you got tired,
Peace out. Peace out. Yeah.
Bob would be
Yeah, I
happy.
don't know. I don't know if you would have won as many times
No, I
as
don't
you did, but
think
it
so. I
sounds
don't
really
think
good.
so.
But it's true. In that,
is true, though,
in
yes,
the
in that
safety
context.
aspect of that, it's a
Yeah.
very good point, actually.
That's a good message for
It's a very
any
good
age,
message
honestly.
yeah.
anybody.
Tired, you don't feel right, like something's
Yeah.
wrong.
Get
like,
out.
hop
Get out of the water.
Just get up.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
out. I love that one. That is any age, any stage. So yeah, I mean that's how it looks for us now. And like I said, I mean there's pools all over college. So with no
Water
safety
on
barrier.
74%,
over
73.
Yeah.
I don't know. That might be
All of
changing.
it.
It's
due to
changing
climate
a
change,
lot.
but
It used
to be
so
80-something.
over 70.
Yeah,
Let's stick with that.
absolutely. And then of course your sweet girl who's off in the oceans all the time. I mean you can
There's a lot to unpack
right.
there.
So
That's
Scuba
completely
diving,
different.
Yeah.
submersibles,
Oh
and
my
things
gosh,
like
Yeah.
that.
with weights
Research
on. Or scuba
vessels.
diving with weights on.
The conversation lasts
Yeah.
a lifetime.
yeah,
It
but I
does.
think it should keep going no matter
Yeah.
what. I mean, and you need to like anything else, you have to be aware.
That's what it is, awareness.
Yep, that's what it is.
And
How'd we
respect
do?
the water.
Are we done?
Nice to meet you.